Hello everyone, Calamity here, and it's been a while since my last video. Sorry about that, but this is a long overdue weapon ban review. I usually do these way earlier once the banner is actually out, but things happen, life stuff happens, but hey, I'm here now. So let's get into the video and talk about the weapons on the current banner. That being said, if you are a new character, if you are a new player, I do advise you to build up your character roster first before delving into getting 5-star weapons for them first. Or at least, at the very minimum, build at least 2 teams that you're very confident with before trying to min-max them with their 5-star weapon. Now, that being said, let's start talking about these amazing 5-star weapons. This is honestly probably the best weapon banner we have had in a very long time, because both weapons, whether or not you lose the 50-50 or not, you're still winning, because essentially both of these weapons are really good on so many characters. It's insane. So let's actually talk about what they do. With the Staff of Homa, or the Staff of Homeless, is what's gonna happen to you if you try to pull for this thing, no joke, is a pole arm, 5-star pole arm that has crit damage as a substat. And it has a very simple effect. It's called the Reckless Cinnabar. It's going to increase your HP straight up by 20%. Additionally, it will provide an attack bonus based off your max HP. If you have less than half your HP, that bonus is going to be increased from 0.8 to 1%, which is a really nice damage boost for anyone. This is very similar to the Jade Primordial Cutter Sword. Very strong. It can be used on just about any DPS or sub DPS, and of course Hu Tao being the signature user of this weapon, it does fit her more because you are often at less than half of your health anyways because of her elemental skill. However, it does not matter who you put this on because it's going to be an amazing weapon. You can give this to Raiden Shogun, you can give this to Xianling, but Xianling's kind of a free bingo card here. You can give this to Sinnoh. Basically, give this to any main DPS, as I said, sub DPS. Heck, maybe even there's a support out there if you even have extra, but I would recommend giving this to a DPS first. Any main DPS or any sub DPS you have, and it will give them a strong damage boost. I actually have this on my Raiden Shogun because I was unlucky in pulling the Engulfing Lightning. So highly recommend this weapon. And again, if you were trying to pull for the Aqua Simulacra and you lost your 50-50 and you got this instead, no big deal, because again, so many characters can use this, and even if you don't have anyone that can use this, well then in the future, right, you're set. Someone's gonna get a stacked 5-star weapon in the future. The next 5-star weapon on this banner is the Aqua Simulacra. It also has crit damage as a substat. It has a similar weapon effect ish. Let's read it. It's called the Cleansing Form. It'll increase your HP by 16% straight up. And when there's any opponents nearby, the wielder of this weapon is just going to do an increased 20% damage, and this takes effect whether or not the character is on field. So obviously this is going to be perfect for Yelan because she can do all of her damage off field with her burst. So she's still going to have that 20% increase. Now this is also going to count for her elemental skill damage and her breakthrough barb damage, as well as her normal attacks, but we don't really scale with her normal attacks. Now, just like the Staff of Homa, if you happen to pull this weapon, you're trying to say you were actually trying to pull for the Staff of Homa, you lost your 50-50, well, you still win because the Aqua Simulacra is just good once again on many characters, main DPSs, sub DPSs, maybe not so much supports, but that's a lot of characters to cover. This could be great on Child, Ganyu, Tignari, of course Yelan herself. You could use this on Yoimiya. This is actually one of the best weapons you can give to an Aggravate Official. Just gives her so much crit damage. And again, Oz will be doing that increased 20% damage because of the weapon effect. Very strong weapon. Lots of characters can use this. I do have to advise you though, if you do get this weapon, Start pre-farming those knights in the chasm now. That is one of the most limited materials in the game. You need the little, what are they called? The little arm guard thingies they wear. It's a material. I'll try to pop it up on the screen, but you're gonna need a lot of this stuff. I ended up having to go to a bunch of people, like random, people's world, and like asking to farm their knights because this weapon needs so much. You're also gonna need to farm specters in Inazuma as well. So this weapon, very very strong, but also very very hard to ascend. So do your pre-farming now, or if you're okay with just waiting out the process, you're gonna have to farm those enemies every day. Now I'm gonna keep this video short, and we're just gonna lightly touch on the 4-star weapons really fast. So we have the Favonius Sword and the Favonius Codex. The Favonius Sword is much better than the Codex just because there's much more characters in the game that can use this weapon, from Traveler to Chi-Chi to Kea to literally any support, or even some sub DPSs want this weapon. It essentially turns them into a battery as it generates extra energy particles. It gives them energy recharge. You just have to make sure you build yourself a little bit of crit rate so you can proc the weapon's effect consistently. And usually you do this by giving the character wielding this weapon a main stat crit rate circlet. For the Favonius Codex, you could give it to Mona. Support Yan Fei could also use it, and maybe like one or two other characters that I can't remember right now. The Dragon's Bane is the middle weapon in this list of 4 stars, and is probably one of the better DPS options in here. It is Hu Tao's best 4-star weapon, so if you were unlucky with the Staff of Homa, the Dragon's Bane is the next best thing. This can also be used for Raiden Shogun, or in a Hyper Bloom team, or Toma in a Burgeon team. It gives you Elemental Mastery as a substat, and your opponents that are affected by Hydro or Pyro basically get an increased damage. Very, very easy weapon to use. Very, very solid. It gives Hu Tao a lot of Elemental Mastery for Vaporize, or any character that using it on. Very, very strong weapon. Moving on, we have the Rust, and the only character that comes to mind that can really utilize this weapon is Yoimiya, because it just increases your normal attack damage at the cost of your charge, which doesn't matter. You could use this on, main DPS character, like if you're trying to do like a physical damage build with like Fischl or like Amber, where you only use their normal attacks as your primary source of damage, but it's not really that optimal. Not too many characters can use it, unfortunately. And then lastly is the Lithic Blade. This is very similar to the Lithic Spear, if you are familiar with that weapon set. Basically every character that comes from Liyue is going to grant you an additional attack bonus and crit rate bonus. The problem is the Lithic Spear is a little bit better because there's more variety in the characters you can use. Like you could give it to Hu Tao, you could give it to Zhao, and those characters will get more value. But for the Lithic Blade, I mean, Chong Yun is probably going to be the best user of this weapon. Jin Yan, maybe. Like, I'm sure there are better options than this. Unfortunately, just not a lot of good Claymore users for the Lithic Blade. And then there's the whole like limiting your party to only characters from the UA. Honestly, this is probably going to be the worst weapon on the banner, or at least the least valued weapon on the banner. Just not because the weapon sucks, it's just that there aren't a lot of characters that can utilize it. If there's a character you think that this weapon's actually really good for, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know. But with that being said, that's going to do it for this weapon banner. As I said before, 5-star wise, this weapon is insane. Staff of Homa, Aqua Simulacra are amazing weapons. The 4 stars aren't bad either. Favonius Sword, a Dragon's Bane. Even the Codex can be useful for a lot of characters as well. Good luck on your pulls though. And with that being said, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like the content, and I'll see you in the next one.